Ant-Man might be small, but you still can't miss him. But there are other things you could have missed. This video will cover exactly that, but especially the Easter eggs that were revealed for MCU's Phase 3 with the release of the new Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. First up, Major MCU Phase 3 Easter eggs showcased in Ant-Man 3 trailer. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is preparing for what is expected to be the next wave of feature films and streaming series as Phase 4 comes to a close. The theatrical portion of Phase 5 begins with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania in the coming year. The first teaser trailer for Quantumania from Marvel Studios provided a preview of what fans can expect even if the threequel is still 4 months away. As Scott Lang, played by Paul Rudd, attempts to enjoy his post-Endgame life, he and his companions are drawn back into the well-known tiny realm through a satellite made by Cassie Lang. Scott, Cassie, Hope Van Dyne, Janet Van Dyne, and Hank Pym work together to resolve the situation. Janet takes the initiative and explains what they are up against because she has experienced being imprisoned in the quantum realm for years. There is a hidden universe below ours, explains Janet. Hope wonders what Janet is afraid of, something which can be noted throughout the trailer. Janet replies cryptically, "There's something I never told you." The narration then switches to Kang the Conqueror, who teases that the quantum realm is not what it seems to be. Following up, Chronopolis, images of a vast military-style complex with army production lines and otherworldly spacecraft are seen while Kang talks. The Quantumania clip takes viewers outside of this facility to a quantum realm pub, introducing the human-looking Bill Murray persona and battles involving an oversized Ant-Man. All of these activities take place in a metropolis with a skyline resembling one from the 2018 film Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a blink and miss it. Although it isn't stated officially, this metropolis and the one that makes a brief appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp have many of the same architectural details and lighting. Additionally, both are encircled by energy reminiscent of the quantum realm. This place will probably turn out to be the MCU's Chronopolis. In comic books, Kang the Conqueror is the ruler of Chronopolis, a city-state that spans many eras. Chronopolis is portrayed as having a circular form, similar to what was seen in the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. Moving on, let's talk more about Chronopolis. In particular, Chronopolis is propelled by an apparatus known as the Heart of Forever. Kang was able to access the past at will, since Chronopolis can exist simultaneously in every branch of time because of this technology. Kang's hand may be seen inserting a brightly illuminated orb into a capsule in one quick trailer clip, which might be seen as him refilling the Heart of Forever in the movie. The central conflict of Ant-Man 3 may revolve around Kang's efforts to make his kingdom timeless if this mysterious metropolis turns out to be Chronopolis and adheres to the same set of laws as its comic book equivalent. Kang needs Scott's help with something, and in exchange, will give him and his pals extra time. It's possible that he needs the favor to activate the Heart of Forever, as doing so would allow him to assign time as he sees fit. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania hits cinemas on February 17th, 2023. Now on to 10 things you completely missed in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp may be the smallest MCU heroes, but they're just as entertaining. They're the perfect mix of seriousness and humor that we need in our superhero movies. Anyway, here are 10 things that you probably completely missed in the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Coming up, number 10, Goliath was teased in Iron Man 2. In the sequel, Hank Pym's background in experimental science and S.H.I.E.L.D. is expanded big time. His former co-worker, Dr. Bill Foster, who is played by Lawrence Fishburne, is also included in the mix. Scott's use of the same technology puts Bill, the hero who once referred to himself as Goliath, a little behind. But the first was still important enough to put him under Tony Stark's radar in Iron Man 2. Fans didn't really think of it as an important part of the plot, but when Tony Stark goes in search of something to cure himself and make Iron Man more powerful, he cites the Goliath project. He asks Jarvis to give him information about everything, including projects Pegasus, Exodus, and Goliath. Moving on to number 9, ex-con security consultants. We're all aware that the first part of Ant-Man covers the struggles of how hard it is to find legitimate employment after spending most of your life locked up as a thief. But the tables turn in the sequel. Even though their workspace and vehicle aren't all that glamorous, it was still a surprise to see Scott, Luis, Dave, and Kurt form their own security company. This is a comic reference. Though it's a tad bit different from the comics, OG fans would definitely get it. Next up, Fishburne will always be a brilliant teacher. We really hope that Lawrence Fishburne takes it as a compliment, but no matter how many roles he plays or has played, he will always be Morpheus to a lot of us. Even though the circumstances are different, he's still an amazing teacher with all the knowledge of the world. We honestly don't blame the filmmakers for putting him in front of his chalkboard, showing all those mathematical equations with matrix clearly written on the board. Now, it may be a mathematical term, but we're definitely not letting it go as mere coincidence. Following up on number 7, Quantum Realm Clues. It wasn't until Ant-Man was released in HD that the fans could see a tiny silhouette of a superhero when Scott shrunk down into the quantum realm, and we think we all assumed the same thing, the Wasp. Now, it was only an assumption, but now that Feige has confirmed it, we can say for sure that Wasp is indeed alive, and will make its cameo in Ant-Man. Up next, number 6, Egghead. The new supervillain looked like a character pulled out of a video game, and was enough to turn heads. But she's more than her costume, even though she eventually reveals herself to be Ava Starr. You gotta keep in mind her father isn't your regular scientist. In the comics, we see that Dr. Starr wants to convert his government-funded science into criminal profits, but he gets caught. Knowing the history, we can't help but wonder, is Egghead a work of her dad? Moving on to number 5, Young Goliath. We often see movies use CG to portray a younger version of actors, just like we saw in the first Ant-Man movie. They turned Michael Douglas into a young Hank Pym thanks to special effects. But in the sequel, they brought Lawrence Fishburne's real-life son, Langston Fishburne, to show a young character. Now, isn't that cute? It's a small part, but viewers often appreciate family affairs like these. Now, for number 4, our favorite Stan Lee cameo. We know Stan Lee's cameos are something every MCU fan looks for in almost every MCU movie, so how could he not appear in this one? Now, if you were on the lookout, you would have caught it, but in case you weren't, don't worry, we got you. After his cameo in the first movie as a bartender in a long chain of friends linking Sam Wilson to Scott, the comic creator returns in the middle of the sequel's biggest car chase. Lee's character features Ant-Man and the Wasp's physics-defying shrinking abilities in some pharmaceutical entertainment he was a part of back in the 60s. We can only assume that this aside is because of the character's own hallucinogenic history, since previous MCU movies have established that Stan Lee is actually working for the Watchers. But for fans, it's a wonderful nod to fellow co-creator and artist Jack Kirby's surrealist style. Moving to number 3, School Lesson for Ants. For everyone who thought Scott was restricted to either his normal size, a miniature version of him, or a giant, y'all are going to be surprised. When it's required, he can split the difference between his smallest and normal scale, put on a baggy sweater, and he can easily pass as a child. But what audiences are less likely to see is the writing on the chalkboard. The set decorators deserve a round of applause for this one. The sentences are only fully visible in the actual movie, but one line about flowers that my ants grow is cleverly on brand to a rare degree. Now for number 2, Infinity War end credit scenes. Although the characters weren't involved in the action, Marvel particularly enjoyed joking that Ant-Man and the Wasp weren't a part of the Avengers' Infinity War against Thanos. In the end, the heroes were defeated, Thanos snapped, and half the universe's life forms were instantly reduced to dust. Since Avenger 3's entire storyline takes place over just a few hours, the heroes of this half of the MCU can sit it out. The fallout is still addressed in the movie though. Finally, number 1, Marvel's next X-Men merger. Fans hope that Luis, Scott's friend's decision that X-Con was a better way of branding than X-Con is a hint or an Easter egg pointing towards a possible merger. That's a wrap for this video. Which Easter egg was your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.